A very, very warm good evening. This is Arunava Chaudhuri. You are live on my YouTube channel, Arunfoot. Sorry, it's a little later, a little over half an hour later than I intended to join you on this Thursday evening, November the 27th, 2025. And another Indian football discussion talking about the latest of what's happened yesterday, of course, my first ever double watch along. First, the Indian under 17s winning 3-1, a comeback win against Chinese Taipei. 3 goals from Gangte, from captain Gangte, and then FC Goa losing in the AFC Champions League 2 to Al Zafra in Baghdad 2-1. And of course, the big news yesterday was that Sergio Lobera left Odisha FC. Jose Molina left Mohun Bagan Supergiant, and then his replacement became Sergio Lobera, and that was, of course, the big news in Kolkata. And of course, that set off a lot of frenzy of people saying, hey, you know what? If Mohun Bagan Supergiant are appointing a coach, the ISL is surely happening. And it's like, okay, there's been no movement at all in the last few days. The people concerned in the government are all or were in Glasgow for the decision yesterday in regard to the Commonwealth Games. So therefore, all of those things need to be looked at and discussed. Hi, Deepak. Welcome back to the channel. And at the start of the live, as always, like to say, if you like what we're talking about, if you like the discussions here on the channel, do leave a like behind, share with other people to potentially join us in our conversations. And of course, also, if you haven't subscribed to the channel and become part of the Arun Foot family, we stand at 3,484. And also look at my short videos that I try and do and make on a regular basis. And today I did something on Molina out, Lobera in regard to Mohun Bagan Supergiant. The day before I did something on the Indian women's game and the lack of support from the AIFF. So do watch those videos. Very interesting to see what people like or not, and therefore we will talk about those things as well. Namita says, Sir, Lobera has again requested 3 foreign players, and Silimi was thinking he'd give chance to young players. Namita, let's be very, very clear. At a club like Mohun Bagan Supergiant, it is not about talent development. It might be nice, and Sergio Lobera is coming to Mohun Bagan Supergiant to win titles. He's coming to Mohun Bagan Supergiant because he wants to win something. And for him, if there's an opportunity, he will give a young player a chance. No doubt about that. Sergio Lobera will surely, give a chance. But to me, if I'm being very, very honest, he will look at, at his squad. There's been discussion that Dimi Petratos could be on his way out. And then he will look at the other foreigners and think about, okay, who fits in my system, who doesn't, right? And so, yeah, let's wait and see what happens. Good evening, Shastik. A little late today. Yes, sorry again. Thing in regard to traffic, had to do some stuff for my parents and then got stuck in traffic again. So sorry that I'm a little late. Hey, Vaman, I'm back. Yeah, so good to see you back here in it. How will foreigners play next year CFL? Shivam, it's the point is there is a lot of hype around Mohun Bagan Supergiant actually putting a squad together and Lobera replacing Molina. So there is this thought process that I seem to have heard from a certain section of Mohun Bagan fans who think, you know what, the ISL is happening for sure. And to me, given the scenario at this moment in time, nothing has changed. There has been no real conversations with the government. Whatever people, again, there are a lot of people claiming a lot of things. And this is, as I've said, I've warned you guys, and I warn you once again. There will be XYZ people saying, oh, this has happened, that has happened, this has happened, that has happened. But at the moment, the ball is in the court of the government. And so far, the government has other priorities. You know, so therefore, let's wait and see what they play. Santosh Trophy update also has come. Yeah, Deepak again, but nice. You're talking about Santosh Trophy update, but it's the most unimportant update of all. Santosh Trophy, senior women's nationals, junior nationals, all those are nice to have. Uh, to me, yeah, it's a bonus. Any IWL tender update yet? Shastik, there were 4 groups who've shown an interest, and we know from the men's tender that an interest doesn't translate automatically into bidding. And so, therefore, we will at this moment in time have to wait and see what happens. And yeah, let's see when the parties had requested an extension from the AIFF. So let's see. So just curious, how did you learn German? Namita, I'm born in Germany. I'm born and brought up in Germany, so I automatically learned German as a language here in Germany from a very, very young age. Lennart is a baller, and Bayern got 2 gems in the form of Jamal and Karl. Yeah, Lennart Karl. Yeah, um, really, really talented. Let's see. And again, continues with his insane run. I think he's now scored 7 goals in the last 9 matches he's played for Bayern Munich and for the German under 21. So yeah, let's see. How many clubs are alive in IWL 1, 2? Deepak, as far as I know, I think except Odisha FC, I think all the clubs are still alive. And of course, the Indian Arrows Women's is also, which has been shut down for the moment. In my opinion, I haven't seen a better playmaker than Ahmed Jahu. Kama, yeah, he will be up there with the best. I always say that to me, a level above those guys would have been in the early years, would have been someone like Elhano Bloomer at Chennai. Lovely player, great guy. Um, yeah, but Ahmed Jahu, surely one of the legends of the Indian Super League. How good is the Sri Lankan origin defender Claudio currently playing in Bundesliga? Claudio Kramerknecht, Schwastik, very good. Playing at Dynamo Dresden, a regular in the 2nd or 3rd tier with Dynamo. Yeah. And I would say Sri Lanka has a lot of. I was discussing it with someone of origin, of Sri Lankan origin, actually yesterday, and asking, what's the situation over there, and they're saying, listen, we need a little bit more time. We need to settle down a little bit more, So let's see. It's like I constantly fail my exams, and my parents changes my tuition teachers at the same rhythm. Namita, that's the problem, right? This is you're changing things, but you're not getting anything done, and that is, I think, the biggest problem with AFF and Indian football at this moment, at this time, that we need changes, and yeah, so we have to see what Do you play FPL or any fantasy football games? No, firstly, I used to play fantasy Bundesliga in the past, and but actually nowadays, I don't have the time really for this. Interest doesn't mean bidding. A solid learning from the previous one. Exactly, Shivam. So therefore, again, interesting to see JSW being amongst them. Of course, Shachi was amongst them as well in 2 other groups. So let's see what it is. Renedy or Baichung? Oh, Shastik, that's a very good, and, you know what? If I have to answer that, I would most probably say, I have to say Baichung, right? What went wrong for Bayern yesterday? Bayern didn't score in the first half, I would have said. Bayern were dominant in the first half. I think the first goal should have been given a foul. I think we need to talk, all those people who talk about VR and all those things. Listen, even if VR is there, you don't, these kind of mistakes don't seem to be taken back. And in the second half, Arsenal were brilliant, right? But I think Bayern messed it up. Bayern have to blame themselves in the first half. Arsenal in the second half clearly better. But we need to talk about that first goal. And I don't. Again, if this is football, right? If that goal is not given, you don't know if it stands. But in the second half, clearly, um, yeah, Arsenal were better and in the end deserving winners. Even though the second one is, of course, two substitutes come in, score. That's Ateta good, good feature to be able to do that. And the third one, you know, how many times Manu has been able to get to that ball, and in this case, he doesn't get it against Martinelli because he realizes, what, Martinelli, Kimmich doesn't have a chance. But the question is, if he drops back, again, those kind of situations, and then if it stays 2-1, we've got that big chance from Gnabry where Kimmich plays that brilliant pass. If Gnabry makes a connection, it goes in. But again, doesn't happen. And again, yeah, Arsenal won yesterday, so yeah. Is there in history of football even happened that any country has a top league owned by a private company and the league doesn't happen due to non-agreement due to financial terms? Yeah, Deepak, has happened. NASL in North America has failed in the 70s, and you had players like Pele, Beckenbauer, and all those legends in the game. You've had rebel leagues and other things happening, so this is happening in other parts of the world. So how's the weather there? Very bad. It's what was the car showing to me just now? 2.5 degrees, and it's raining and it's foggy. Yeah, it's November, right? It is cool. Hope to switch the sport going forward. Okay, BWF. Okay, Deepak. Thoughts and Band, if it Arsenal yesterday, just the best team in the world right now, no doubt, after the game. I don't think so. Shvastik, I think Bayern have themselves, again, Bayern had yesterday, the first half, good control, but in the second half, they didn't turn up. So therefore, and again, I say, if that first goal doesn't stand, I want to see that game. Because that was yesterday's game was set up for Bayern to win potentially, but in the second half, forget it. Arsenal were better and walked away with it. Yeah, so to me, yeah, and are they the best? Again, we were talking a few weeks ago. Oh, Paris Saint-Germain are the best team in the world. Bayern beat them. Then you say Bayern are the best team in the world. Now Arsenal beat Bayern. Yeah, and then for example, if Arsenal lose to Chelsea, you can say, oh, you know what, Chelsea is the best one. So therefore, you move on from one to the other, and that's always a very tricky thing. To me, Arsenal were better on the night. They won it, but again, there are two, three things which can always be discussed in football, and that didn't happen. So yeah, bad luck. From Bundesliga is live in India on SSCN. Yes, Deepak, Frauen Bundesliga as well as Handball Bundesliga are also live on SSCN. Your favorite beer, if you have any, Swastik, if there are types of beer, right? Like lager and all that stuff. There is in Cologne, there's a beer called Kölsch, and that is my favorite beer, if you would ask me. Do you think India and Australia can top the table? Karma, theoretically, yes. Again, to me, Iran are still the favorites in that group. They were the favorites. They are the favorites in that group. And, so let's wait and see what we can do. I think India first needs to beat Lebanon tomorrow. And you don't know what Palestine and Iran will happen. And again, against Lebanon, I think also anything can happen, as the match against Palestine and Chinese Taipei showed. But I take the win against Chinese Taipei. I think it wasn't an easy one, and so therefore I would I think we should be happy with it, and yeah, and take it as a opportunity for us. I think it's a big opportunity at the moment, and at this moment in time, if I look at it, it's very difficult to say if they're going to make it or not, but the opportunity is there. But I'm not sure if they're going to make it or not, right? So therefore, for me, is yeah, I'm not sure if they're going to make it or not. As I say, yeah, as I speak to you, that's yeah. Dada, is Rohan Shivani of VfL Osnabrück Indian origin? Someone has told me he is of Indian origin, is Berlin born, but I've actually not checked. So that's very interesting, right? He's playing currently on loan at VfB Lübeck in the fourth division Regionalliga. He's come through last winter and um, at VfL Osnabrück, third division VfL Osnabrück, midfielder, attacking midfielder, 19 years old. Let me check. That's actually a good one to check. Thanks, Shivan. Honestly, if ISIS broadcast in DD Sports, we're okay. Namita, no, you would not be okay. You um, I tell you why. Because you think, I think, we think it's okay. You know what? It's not that big a deal. We will manage. Um, but to me, you know, um, but to me, it's a difficult one. It's a difficult one to think that we go back to DD Sports of all that has happened in football. Hey, Uchud, your thoughts about Ronaldo's red card suspension delayed so that he can play the World Cup? Scandal, but expected, right? I mean, FIFA has to market anything and everything now out of the World Cup. It has a lot of problems with the US at the moment, if they want it or not. You know, so let's wait and see what happens. Do or die for the U17 lads tomorrow against Lebanon. Live watch along, right? Yes, there will be a live watch along tomorrow. But it is already a do or die, but it is going to be one of two do or dies. Again, whatever happens tomorrow, um, very simple. If India win tomorrow, Iran win tomorrow, it's a clean shootout. By any chance there's a draw between India, Lebanon, and Iran, Palestine, then the whole thing gets very, very complicated because then suddenly um, Palestine moves to 3 points, Iran and India move to 5 points, and Lebanon end the campaign on 4 points with four draws, which is insane. But Palestine have Chinese Taipei to play in the last game, so Palestine could leapfrog to 6 points, right? So, um, yeah, let's wait and see. It is all possible, but I'm not getting carried away because I've seen the quality. DD Sports is not so commonly nowadays, but we can expect a huge dip in broadcast quality. Shivam, it will be a big, dip in broadcast quality. That is one problem. And the other thing you mentioned, which is more important, DD Sports reach is non-existent these days. It is not. It is not the key biggest channel, whatever we want to talk about. You know, and that is part of the problem at the moment. So do you come to India frequently? Namita, yes and no. This year, I've only been earlier this year twice to India due to work. But at the moment, um, you know, but yeah, the third goal, Manuel was completely taken aback. No, Shivam, Manuel Neuer plays a high line. Manuel Neuer risks a lot. And most of the time it works, but once in a while, he misses the ball. And Martinelli's touch and the way he plays the ball past Manuel Neuer is world class. So that's why. PIOIOC women's players. OCI women's players. Deepak, yes, they exist. Just I'm really interested. It's a good question. You know, uh, so therefore, yes, they are. The question is, what good would they do in the game? Sorry. Apala. So yeah, JSW are interested. Um, what can they do? What they can't do? That's the question, and that will be the point to see. Any day about the meeting between ISL clubs and the ministry from Ashish that will be next week. Surya, it's been pushed, and the clubs are in a desperate situation to know what is happening. The government has been given a task. The government has not done anything so far because they were more preoccupied with the Commonwealth Games, and the concerned people in the government were in Glasgow, and yeah, that's where the situation stands. My bad. Man United and Liverpool are the best teams in the world right now in a parallel universe. Well, yeah. Hi, Utsav. Any update on ISL? Nothing. Nothing, Utsav. But sir, the controversial, but let's be honest, we are all are waiting for Kalyan's election of 26 for at least some betterment. Namita, yeah, but again, that's the problem. No? If he stays on for that long, it shows you what the problem is, right? We are stuck with the whole situation where we are at this moment in time. Is only the group champions qualifying for this U17 matches? Yes, Uchut, only the champions, because um, the idea of the AFC was, because it's now a yearly event, that the 8 quarter-finalists of each edition plus Qatar automatically qualified, and 7 other teams of rest of Asia qualify. Qatar is not playing the qualifiers because Qatar is hosting the Under 17 World Cup themselves, because the Under 17 World Cup happens parallel to the qualifiers for the AFC Under 17 qualifiers. I feel the Jota incident has mentally hammered Liverpool chances of defending the title. Freund has been creating chances, but there's nobody to finish. Shivam, I think early on, the problem was that they were winning matches, right? Liverpool had a brilliant start, winning also a lot of matches late on. And once that switch flipped from positive to negative, they've not been able to regain. And to me, that is an insane one to think that they have not been able to figure out, uh, um, you know, uh, of where they stand, right? So therefore, for me, um, the Jota thing, yes, Diego Jota dying has been a disaster for Liverpool Football Club, 100%. But I think the bigger problem is last season. I guess it was um, the still the Klopp effect, right? And this season, with all the changes that they've made, right? I think selling Luis Diaz hasn't worked well for them. Um, Diego Jota was mentioned, and um, so yeah, it's one of those crazy situations. Strange week. Legends Dharmendra passed away and Imran Khan might have passed away, but Kalyan Chowdhury is alive and kicking. Okay, origin. Yeah, but that's not the. Again, don't wish deaths to people. This is. I don't think that's the right way of doing it or saying it. If you want to talk about things. Ayush will not be able for the Mumbai City semi-final game and the Isro game as well, right? Uh, Istiklal game, he is surely not available. But my question is, why should he not be available for the Mumbai City game? Did he pick up a card in the group stages of suspension? We can't afford to talk about viewership quality when our viewership number is so poor. I think you have to, because if you want to improve it, you can't just say, oh, you know what, I'll just do a broadcast for the sake of a broadcast. I think that's also a wrong approach. If you move back to DD Sports for a few seasons, okay, I don't think so. What's up? It's nobody will watch it. Then even Fancode will have more viewership than DD Sports. By the way, Portugal versus Austria final going on right now. Yes, Mastic, I'm watching in action parallel. Portugal leading 1-0 in the Under 17 World Cup final after 53 minutes. Gautam Gambhir and Kalan Choi both are alive and kicking to Kunil is in its beds. Arijit, don't do these kind of jokes. So I've come up with the calculation. ISIS should get started by 27. Worst case, by the time it becomes regular, OCPO 2035 will come here and join the national team. Okay. Namita, I don't want the PRs, OCIs to come to India. I want them to play wherever they are. The process of getting an Indian passport, dual citizenship needs to change, right? To be true, the ISIS viewership has been decent over the years. It could have organically increased. The quality could have been maintained rather than a gradual regression taking place. Shivam, I would have said, 23, 24, I would have said that it moved in the right direction. 23, 24, it moved in the right direction. Um, but the problem was um, that the last year has been a disaster for with all the things that have gone wrong in Indian football, and that has hurt Indian football in a big way. I think OCI can come because host India. Maybe no, that has nothing to do with that. September 2026 election AIFF. Let's see. Again, election. All of these things we'll have to wait and see. Said, do you think we have infrastructure to host Commonwealth Games? I heard players were complaining about rats in dressing rooms in FIFA U17 World Cup. Utsav, where did you hear about rats in the under 17 World Cup? I have not heard of that story because they were staying in five-star hotels. How they again? Yes, India can host it if you want to. Iran will go through. India will again be close, but no cigar. Okay, Rajit. So you should do watch along of Bayern game, especially UCL ones. Yeah, thinking of doing actually Champions League watch alongs because after next week there might be no Indian football for the rest of the season. So yes, Champions League watch alongs is something I thought actually yesterday, but yesterday I was so tired after doing a double watch along of Indian football that I actually never got to do the international watch along. So yeah, we'll do that. I was disappointed with Bhutan. They lost 6-0 to a team like India and looked woeful in qualifiers. Okay, Orijit. I feel whoever goes through the U70 group, the pitch is going to somehow be the wingman of the particular team that tops. Can be, or you're just good enough to go through. It's true FSDL gets so much loss from ISL. Yes. 3,500, I would say, is the number to talk about when you talk about losses. Hey, Raj. Yes, pitch play important role. Exactly. Thoughts on the new Birmingham City's 62,000 capacity stadium? Classic, interesting shape, form of the stadium. To build it with those chimneys, and if it's true, and but interesting to see. A club with an average of I think less than 20,000 to try and build a 62,000 seater. And again, there is some very interesting American investment behind Birmingham City pushing for the Premier League. Yeah, interesting. Fan could only few stream platform in India produce good. Okay, Murali I was referring to tenure of Kalyan Chobe as the AIFF president. Yeah, but Orijit, it looked untasteful. If you're saying that these people have died and he's still there, right? That sounds not good. Do you think sometimes our system is a huge barrier for sports development? Yes, Murali. Star was really good back in days. Yes, Raj, it was. Dada, even the starting game of last season, I said was most probably the best match of the season. My opinion. Oh, Shivan was brilliant. If you think about, um, you know, the way Mohun Bagan and Mumbai City went each other in that 2-2 draw, and Mumbai City coming back. Um, yeah, that was really impressive to say the least. So therefore, that's those kind of matches really enjoyable, great fun to watch. But yeah, we don't get too many of those. So therefore, um, that was really a great game of football, and yeah, that has to be there. People need to make those decisions rather than expecting players to give up their. Yeah, but the government doesn't want it, right? So both the Crystal Palace gems, Ez and Olise, are cooking right now. Yeah, classic. Not only them, right? I mean, Mark Guhi as well. If he stays there or moves on next summer, Crystal Palace has developed really a great generation of players, right? Right, more than 30 minutes. Quick reminder, everyone, if you're liking what we're talking about here, do leave a like behind, share it with other people. And if you're new, if you haven't, but you're liking the conversation, do subscribe to the channel and do watch the short videos as well. 3,484. Again, aim is quickly to get to the 3,500 mark and then move on to the next. And thanks a lot as always for your support. Next hearing, 3rd December, 4th December. As far as I know, 4th December is supposedly the next hearing. This was perfect opportunity to bring soccer passion back. See, Bangladesh football is now their number one sport. Both India and Bangladesh cricket is at the lowest ebb. Wow, Orijit. Even at the lowest ebb, I think in India, football cannot compete at the moment with cricket. The FIFA Under 17 Indian World Cup was probably one of the best in terms of youth tournaments. Was it? I think the quality was good. Yeah, I think attendances were excellent. Um, so yeah, surely it was a great one. So do you think Kalyan going to continue with this situation? Namita, yes, yes, um, that is what why the whole situation is the situation is because he's desperately trying to stay, right? So he's not leaving anytime soon. Do you rate players highly when they become so consistent? Is consistent a big problem for Indian players? Yeah, consistent. Again, if you're playing great today, you're playing okay tomorrow, and then you're playing like 3 matches bad. You know, um, it's consistency is one of the traits of quality players also, right? It's some players turn up every week, some players don't turn up at all. So yeah, that's to be seen. How do you see Rubera and Mohammad Super Giant? Will this partnership work out? Um, Surya, to me, Rubera is one of the best coaches, but there are a few factors, in my opinion, which make it tricky in regard to Lobera and Mohan Bagan. Again, there's potential. He likes to play attacking football. Does he have the squad to the football that he wants to play? Potentially, yes, but he wants to make a few changes to it. Um, how does he link up with the Kolkata media? I think that's going to be an interesting one. Lobera is not an easy one. How does he link up with the management? It's another one. And how's the relationship also with the fans? Right. So therefore, there's a lot of ifs and buts in there. But if it works out, yeah. But again, what are they playing for? Right. That's the other problem at the moment. Right. Lobera is there, is coming back. They're supposedly starting training on Sunday. I don't know what Moonbag and Supergiant are training for. Pakistan Roma Spurs was what a game, by the way. Yeah. 5-3 in the end. Lobera and Mohamed Sudan might be one of the best matches in ISL history. Shivam, it could be that, or it could be one of the worst. And this is the potential difference level that is possible, right? That it could be up here. It could end in being, as you say, but it could also end in disaster. And that's the crazy one of this, and given the situation. Football can be famous only if we give good performance in World Cup and Asian Cup. First, we need to qualify World Cup, Asian Cup. Forget World Cup. Let's qualify for the Asian Cup again. But what has Asian Cup qualification of the last two editions done for us? Has it grown Indian football? I mean, look at 2019 with all the success we had, right? So that's something which needs to be remembered. Slot has to go, right? Swastik, it's always a difficult one. The situation is, as a club, you need to recognize and realize is okay. Is he talking to the players? Are the players, in a situation where things could turn out in the right way? And at the moment, it looks difficult, in my opinion. And yeah, so difficult, but most probably he has to go. Yeah, cricket becomes famous after winning 1983 World Cup over hockey. Eh, Was hockey really that popular? I think it's also one of those myths. I don't know. So that story is true. The tournament director said it himself. What's up? Again, I don't know if there's a rat story. Javi Shepi said a rat story again. Let me quickly Google this. If you 1 second, let me just see if that's what Javier said. See, and there is already Javi Shepi's rat comment didn't not refer to FIFA Under 17 World Cup. Hmm. See, so it's not true. Dada, Iran was Lebanon 1-1. Who had played well? Nishant, I didn't see the match, so I can't tell you. Can Lebanon will upset India? Yeah, yeah. Again, it is not an upset. If Lebanon win or lose, again, or draw, at this level, there's not many upsets. Dada texted you there. Please reply. Okay, Nishant, sorry, I haven't had the time to look at it. Can't India send 8 teams to play European teams? Or isn't it bringing results? Arijit, you're trying to bring cricket things into football, so yeah. Javi Shepi clarified it was not in FIFA U17 World Cup, but he referred to some other things outside of the tournament. Yeah, Shivam, again, those realities, rats and all. I've seen rats, I've seen snakes, I've seen, dogs inside grounds and pitches. So let's not even get into that conversation, right? So, yeah. It's really unfortunate for women's team. Yeah, Raj. Do you think we don't proper resource during development phase like Europe countries, especially youth coach? Yes. Nanda, are you ready for Super Cup? Watch along with us. Yeah, that's what I would like to do. Both the semifinals and the final. Yes. But Sarah, as an analyst, do you see any chances of him winning 2026 elections? He does. Then I'll only watch ISL. Sad but true. Namita, there is no ISL. Right? To answer your second question first, or observation, so then I'll only watch ISL. Where which ISL? At the moment, we don't have an ISL, right? And what will happen in the next AIFF elections, right? I have nobody has a clue because I don't know, you don't know who's going to stand, right? So therefore, let's wait and see. That's why, guys, don't get carried away by, oh, we've heard this, I've heard that, this is happening, that is happening. I know that a lot of things are happening, but yeah, very difficult. Safi 17 will be in Pakistan on a drama regarding participation. Orijit, I think at under 17, an Indian team will travel there and nobody will talk about it. How many people told me earlier this year, oh, India playing in Bangladesh senior team will not happen, problem, this and that. Even the day before, people told me, oh, you know what, there is trouble in Bangladesh, the match will not happen. So therefore, listen, these are things, um, with all that has happened, um, a lot of things happen despite people thinking it will not happen. So therefore, yeah, I wouldn't get worried at the moment. If I was the FF, I would have at least a bit of shame. I would have resigned straight away after the Afghanistan game only, or after the Hong Kong game at least. Rastik, in the AFF, don't think about yourself and your standards and what you would do in the context of the All India Football Federation. That is already your first mistake if you're thinking that way, because the way the AFF operates is not the way you run and operate, right? So therefore, that's the point. I think a closed league might be given us more Mumbai Mohan type matches. Yeah, most likely. Sure, most likely. Mainland fans will move to football if Indian football performs better. Same person watch European football in his whole life. He has not watched single Indian match. It is not so easy. If we're suddenly successful at international level, um, I know people who said, "Oh, India World Cup. Okay, as long as India's in the World Cup, I'll watch it. And when India's out in the World Cup, I'll start watching the teams that I like anyway." So very difficult. Remember, Moman wanted Lobera after Abbas, but he didn't compromise because Odisha convinced him with Project. Yeah, and even East Bengal were on the verge of signing him, and he didn't sign for them, right? Hey, Blue will not be surprised if Loya make a fight with management or any of the players. Also, will ISL happen. It's no point talking. Only good thing is I don't have to close my eyes while seeing them. Blue, I think you've I think in the management, Lobera fallout. I don't know. Will it happen tomorrow, or day after? I don't know. Or will it happen maybe on the 31st, on the 1st of December? You know, again, get your popcorn ready. I think fireworks are going to happen. Another, sir, Sergio is good coach and all, but was too good with Jackie Chan Singh, Korominas, Bomus Jahu, and Fall. Not only that, he's had other players as well who've played well for him. Um, both, even Roy Krishna played well for him. Diego Mauricio, let's name, or Delgado and others, the Chef C so as well. But again, yeah, Bomus, Jahu, and Fall have been the three key guys. Only time the nation was rooting for India was that SAF victory against Lebanon and Kuwait at SAF. No, I think there have been other occasions as well. Sana Singh or Mehtab as defender, would you rate higher? If I look at the last year, I would say I would rate Mehtab higher than Sana. Uh, Before that, I would have rated Sana higher, but I think in the last 12 months, I would rate Mehtab Singh has done really well for himself. Really, really well for himself, I have to say. Like, I need to watch Khalid hope at least to see some football. Blue, there's not even hope left. That's my concern. What's the worst phase and best phase in football? When 1950s Indian side world title contenders? No, no. I don't know where you get that world title contenders. We didn't play a World Cup. We've never played a World Cup, right? We've played Olympics. Others didn't. Again, when we won the Asian Games twice, when we um, did well in the Olympics, the world shifted to first in the 50s, shifted to the World Cup, and in the 60s, yeah, to the AFC Asian Cup. We never, 64 and thereafter 84 and then 2011. How do you rate Gian Nasiri as a player? Murali, I have had the pleasure of playing small-sided football with Kian in Kolkata. I regard him as, of his generation, one of the most gifted players technically. And at the moment, I would say that he's not giving himself um, or doing himself justice um, by what he's achieved. You know, a player like him should have achieved more, in my opinion. Sir, ISL meeting didn't happen from government side because Joint Secretary of Government is in Sweden for Commonwealth bid. Post meeting for next week. Your thoughts? Arman, he is in Scotland, not in Sweden. Sweden is not part of the Commonwealth, so he was in Glasgow. India got it. Again, I've told you, it's not part of the priorities of the government. If anyone who thinks that the government will step in and say, okay, I will put in money or will ask someone to put in money, we're in La La Land, right? So, so yeah, it's it's very difficult at the moment. A lot of people hyping Shubham Dixit. Raj, this hyping business is the last thing left for it for Indian football fans. I hope um, any one of those kids who've gone to Europe, anyone in the end makes it, and in 3, 4, 5 years we forget. Has women football reached its peak, or will the bubble burst? I don't think it's reached its peak. Orijit, and what bubble? I don't know what bubble you're talking about, right? John Abraham could be good guy. No, John Abraham is a good guy. That the last match against Hong Kong and the U23 window, that both things are parallel, so that we Good to see the same Indian football again. Few U23 Indian and few national team. Nishant, I don't know. It's in March. It is so far away. Again, guys, you make think about things that it's not worth spending your time thinking about. Who's going to be the next AIFF president? When will be the election? What will happen? All these things will have to wait and see, right? Do you think parents often set unrealistic expectation on Indian kids, which makes them do crazy things? Unrealistic expectation, yes, but I don't know what you mean by crazy things. Again, India lost to Belgium in hockey. Okay, I see a lot of drama upcoming in one match. And that is the one. As I say, this is get as I say, get your popcorn ready. This could be really an interesting thing in regard to if Mohun Bagan is trying to sign players, bring in players, and right. Um, so therefore, yeah. That's the last qualifying U20 window are again parallel in March or not. Nishant, they're always parallel. The under 23s and the senior team normally play parallel to each other in each window, be it in March, be it in June, be it in September, be it in October, be it in November. Where is Harry Redknapp? Can't he coach Indian side? He's no nonsense attitude is good for mediocre teams. Harry Redknapp is retired, and why would he come to India to coach the national team? And he's never coached a national team, right? Arijit. Right? At this point, Indian football is just a thriller series where everything bad that can happen happens. Yeah, or gets even worse, right? That's the dangerous football. No Indian football, no problem. Try to satisfy the void by stimulating Mohun Bagans and FC Goes Israel two matches again in e-football. Okay, where is Arata Izumi now? Can't he lead the Indian side? Arijit, he's a coach now. He was with the Reliance Foundation and has been lately with Interkashi. If government allow OCI card to be sport passport, will FIFA allow it or not? Yeah, they would allow it. But Uday, they're not doing it. Any instance you thought ISL players didn't have big name foreigners, but he played huge role winning like Vasquez? Yes, morally, a lot of them. Right? Ian Hume, name one of many of them. The young players should always try to play first. Don't they understand if they play good for a smaller team that will just help them to get more money later? Why everyone from club to players so short sighted? Blue, that's the word. It's not an Indian problem. I think it's a global problem when it comes to football. And you know, so yeah. So therefore, that's the reality of things in football. Dada, any update about tomorrow's watch along? Yeah, Dishant, I'll be doing India versus Lebanon. I'll be doing a watch along tomorrow, 7:30 or a little earlier than 7:30. Do join me tomorrow, and yeah, we'll be hopefully watching a successful game for India against Lebanon. Uh, so therefore, let's wait and see. Right, quick reminder: like, share, and subscribe. 10 likes so far. I think we can do better than that. And if you're new, you like the conversation, want to be part of the conversation, subscribe to the channel, ask your questions, raise your points. I'll try and answer them as I always try to do. And we are at 3,485, closing in slowly on the 3,500 mark. Can India handle Commonwealth Games as host? Theoretically, Murali, yes. My question is can Ahmedabad host? India can Ahmedabad or Ahmedabad, as they now say, host it? That will be the interesting thing. Gujarat will be the real test because um, Delhi could do it, Bengal, Kolkata could do it, Bangalore could do it, Mumbai could do it, right? So let's see. No hopes from the government. What help could they potentially have? Simon, it's passing the buck. The Supreme Court didn't want to. Supreme Court, I think, realized that they've messed up the process. They've made it too complicated, and now it's like, okay, who can help me to get out of this situation? And and the government also, I think, doesn't know what to do. Right? The government is like, someone has to, let's see. Curacao is what to reach semi-final or at least round of 16. I think unless we start believing nothing will happen, Curacao should be Indian India's idol, forget Brazil, Argentina. Who says Curacao wants to reach semi-final? Where do you get that info? Or is it? Pritham Kotal is the person I would say he had some good game against bigger teams. Yeah, he's had. Murali. We have no football for the next 7, 8 months. Enjoy the lockdown. Simon, who knows? Never 7 next 8 months. We don't even know if it next season some things will start. Right. So this is the danger. Let's enjoy next week, Super Cup, and then let's see. I'm talking about putting pressure on kids. Murali, yeah, they put pressure on kids, of course. Pressure on kids will always be there to perform, to get a good education or whatever else you want to do in life. What to expect from the 17 Dada against Lebanon? Nishant, a win. How doesn't matter. If I look at the Chinese Taipei game, then I'd say terrible football. We won in the end, 3-1. And, yeah. So I take the 3-1. How good a player was Arata was a very good player, morally fast, and so sad to see Sunil sorry on social media. Okay. Why commentators say Bolivia is unbeatable at high altitude and would even struggle against New Caledonia at plains? Not India adopt such tactics? No. Because are we gonna start playing, I don't know, on the Mount Everest or something? That the Bolivian capital La Paz is at a height. That's their big advantage. Sunderland till I die. No Indian football till I die. Yes. Simon, welcome to the club. We're all part of that same club, Indian football till we all die. As sad as it sounds, but that's that's the reality of where we are at this moment in time. Indian rugby team too has performed better than soccer. It's a pity people can't think beyond. Rahul Bose. Okay, Orajit. If FIFA makes it mandatory to not to block origin player from representing respecting country, then what will country like India do? Uday, why would they block it? Why, again, this is why would FIFA block origin players? Makes no sense. Any update on women friendly? Nishant supposedly going to Dubai and playing some club sides. That's the update. Is hosting mega event problem across the world? No. Anything has to allow it. No, Uday, what FIFA does and what the Indian government does is not on the same thing, right? The FIFA has allowed this. I had gone to the AIFF with this in 2001 for the first time. 2006, my then PIO card, which is person of Indian origin, which then was turned into an OCI, overseas citizen of India, and my PIO card went to FIFA in 2006. That was okay. And then the rules were changed, and the government of India has not allowed it. So that's where we stand at this moment in time. How big test is Iran for us? Morally, forget Iran. Let's first figure out, you know, to beat Lebanon. And if we can beat Lebanon, then we can think about other things. India can reach 2034 World Cup. Modi and Curacao coach mentioned this, that they should play with the target of reaching 70. This was joked in the podcast and Dead Ball TV. Yeah, but the Curacao coach is Dick Advocat, and I had the pleasure of meeting Dick Advocat a few times. And therefore, I know that he most probably mentioned it sarcastically, and everyone is taking it seriously. This is the other problem, that people don't realize what is really meant seriously or what is nowadays being meant sarcastically. Real big problem in today's world, right? Dick Advocat will have said it in a certain way, and then it's like ha ha, ha. And then certain people picked it up and said, "Oh, you know what? Dick Advocat said. Oh, you know what? Curacao needs to go to semifinals." And then the circle goes on that you and other people hear it and they say, "Oh, you know what? Dick Advocat said he wants to," and Dick Advocat thinking, "Okay, I just made a joke." Fan code, what it does good. Well, the first thing good that a platform, an OTT sports platform like FanCode exists, and that it broadcasts sports. That's the most important thing. Akish, Ashish did really say in today's life that his days unlimited with football and Khel now has lost his motivation. Feel for him. 15 plus years of work, and this is how it would end. Sad. Simon, welcome to the club. People like Ashish, myself, others. Yeah, we all need to think if we want to do this, right? I mean, I'm for Ashish, it's a job at least. For me, this is fun. I'm spending my spare time on this, right? I love to do this, but the question is, yeah, if I can um, continue, right? I was this week thinking of should I actually do the afternoon watch along lives of India and FC Goa, or should I do Arsenal Bayern? I have resisted so far of doing watch alongs of Champions League or European matches, but maybe, yeah, maybe the time is coming to shift. Hey Mayank, good to see you back. I'm doing good. Good to see you back. Can we be able to see Ayush and Sir David against Mumbai City FC? Theoretically, yeah, David has. There's no suspension, so and Ayush also no. Can we see ESPN and Sony pioneer telecast coverage of game? Morally, ESPN Star Sports, yes, yeah. Sony came on later. Sony most probably is the IPL pioneer, but yeah, I'm saying that no country can reject origin player, not other way around. Ah, okay, Uday, but yes, you can. India is doing it, right? So therefore, that's the problem, right? India can't. India is doing it for its reasons, which to me are illogical. But again, that's the legislation, the regulations, the rules of the country. Why African teams haven't won a World Cup till now is beyond me. I sincerely hope Japan and Korea can win the men's World Cup this time. Or is it because to win a World Cup needs something special? And that is something which the big nations somehow or the other always have had, and therefore, yeah, they've won it. Your opinion regarding Lobera joining Monma Supergiant? Robert, to you and to everybody else, I did a video earlier today on that matter. Molina out, Lobera in. I think there I sum it up what has to be said in detail. So do watch it, guys. Um, and to me, generally, uh, Lobera is a very good coach. A lot of experience in the ISL, but you know, uh, the interesting part is why I said, earlier today also, get popcorn ready to see how they uh, get your popcorn out, because there could be management and Lobera issues, right? So that's the thing. Which team is having more chances to lift Super Cup, Dada? Nishant, all four, because we've had a long break. FC Goa did play yesterday, yes, but again, like the whole tournament, it's unpredictable. Still, people following Dead Ball TV might have the least self-esteem or opinion, man. You literally want to hear yourself being shamed in front of the world. Yeah, Shivam. We often at Federation issue and power if India sports is this happening in Europe because we see good side of it. Murali, yes, it happens. Yeah, right. Curacao semis, it's sarcasm. Also, it's good to have that kind of confidence. Sam, that's what I'm saying. To me, it's Dick Advocat. So Dick Advocat, his humor is a little special. Yeah, that's the thing. Do you think instead of hosting meaningless intercontinental cups, some trophy, India should play lower league club sides more often? No. Why would you play lower league club league sides? You have to play international matches, right? You said watch along might be a good thing to do. Yeah, Shivam, let's see. Let me think about the next Champions League match day. It's in a couple of weeks, right? Maybe something to think about. Let me just quickly see what is the next Champions League match day. So maybe something to look at. Yeah. So that's something could try and do. Let's see if I can. Um, I'm looking at what's the next stuff. Frankfurt, Inter, Liverpool, Monaco, Galatasaray. Okay. And then you have Atletico, President, Bayer Leverkusen, Newcastle, Benfica, Napoli, Dortmund, Porto, Klimt, Club Brugge. Yeah. Oh, Real Madrid, Man City. Yeah, maybe on the 10th, maybe Real Madrid, Man City might be worth the watch along. Let's see. Somehow people in social media can see through everything. They're smart enough to understand why a wedding is cancelled, who cheated whom, speculation, it's worth not. Do problem is on social, and again, your laugh smiley shows that you understand it. I've given up on things. I've really, social media has degenerated to a level which I find very, very disturbing, to say the least. Right? To me, it is social media is a disaster in its own self, given the form it has taken in the last few years. And thanks to Elon Musk, X has become, which I thought was a superb platform in regard to information, other things. Now it's a platform of hate, and the more you hate or disinformation you spew, the more you get reach. Quality is not supported, and that's the biggest thing, right? If you fake news, wrong information, speculations, not facts. I always say, speak about the facts. I would say, if that was your qualification, I'll be clear enough, arrogant enough to say, listen, then I should be having the most followers of anything, of anyone, right? I've called out everything that has happened over the last 3-4 years in football. Sadly, I would have been wrong, like to have been wrong on those things, but yeah. No, Dada, please continue your watch along, and question answer is the only source of motivation for us. The hope is we can and we will. Thanks, Nishant. So as long at the moment I've not lost it, but I've said 5 minutes. I'm in London for meetings. I'm there for work. Why am I doing this? That was my thought, right? I'll be honest. And yeah, that hasn't changed. So I don't know. Do you think US has the best chance of winning after 1950? Or is the US? Does the US have a chance of winning? I don't know. Where you take that confidence to say that the US have a chance of winning. What is this? Okay. Why am I not able to get to the next one? There is. Is coaching lessons given as freebie to ex-players? No. No. Again, yes, there's been this allegation, at least in B license, that 1950, I think US third beat England. Yeah, but those were different days, and 2026 will be different. 100% sure that some of the ex-players who became coaches doesn't even know the basics of football. That's different. No, that's a different question. But yeah. Out of topic question: how far racism impact football? Online hatred towards the country is it for views or reality? Murray, too complex a question. Is there racism in football? 100% there is. Right? Hatred towards India, yeah. Some of it is exaggerated. Some of it is also the fault of Indians. Again, Indians going abroad are not leaving a good picture of India. So let's wait and see. I choose FC over the chance to win the Super Cup, and yeah, will be interesting to see. According to sources, Molina has already asked for signal and squad change, which was releasing at least one of the foreign striker, midfielder, and defender. According to sources, Molina, or do you mean Lobera Zoravar? Which is sorry, Nishan, I don't get it. I think North Ireland upsetting Italy would be great. Is that a possibility? Yes, it surely is a possibility. How do you rate Australia football? Is it dip or improve when you compare with Japan and Korea? To me, it has dipped. So as of now, there is not any proper rule from FIFA where this. Sorry, there is. FIFA will not set that rule. FIFA will just say rule again. Um, yeah. Portugal versus Austria finals today. Simon, it's the Austria and it's a corner for Portugal. So it looks like Portugal set to win the final against surprise finalist Austria. Rüdiger or Virgil van Dijk? Boah, difficult one, Murali. I would normally say Virgil van Dijk, but after seeing him last night, I don't know. It's very sad to see Stanford. If FIFA makes it, India will then have to follow, else it will be. No, FIFA can't. Uday, why are you saying FIFA make it man? FIFA leaves it to each country. FIFA cannot get involved on the matter of citizens. And so therefore, citizenship is not a matter of FIFA too. FIFA can give you the option, say, listen, you can play players of origin, but your national federation has to adhere by the laws of the land. Just checked in Portugal is winning at 90. Yeah, it's 1-0 and we are past the 5+ minutes. Then in prediction of Punjab scoreline, Nishant, I'm not making any predictions of any of it. And Portugal has won the under 17 World Cup against Austria. Arijit, I didn't watch it. I just watched the highlights, so I can't say if it was. Bera, Manolo, or Oscar, who's the best among these? I would say Lobera. Can't we have Israel team playing in India? Yes, we lose, but gain experience. Well, theoretically, yes, but we can get. We don't have time, right? According to when did India football look the most promising? I would have said most promising, very difficult to say. So I would say most probably early 2010s, right? After the Asian Cup, I thought it looked promising. 2019, right? After beating Thailand, I thought, yeah, this could be a start of something. Let's see. Leonard Carl, he looks badass. Musiala's absence is a blessing. This guy's exceptional talent. And let's see how far we can get. USA beat South American team by 5-0. Yeah, they beat Uruguay. Yeah, Origin they did. Sometimes you thought player had certain privilege because access certain things which other parts of the world. Yeah, certainly. That happens, of course. News 2070 coach, another from Steve. Yeah, Nishant, Joachim Alexanderson, yeah, doing a good job. Lobera has a very interesting CV. Yes, he does. How do you see the host faring up this time in the World Cup? I think the US quality-wise is the best among the other two. Do you see a host keep run for one of them? Simon, I think Canada could be a surprise. US, let's see. US is up and down, up and down. Mexico always is good in a World Cup. So let's see. Stephen or Bob? For me, Stephen all day long. It will be, sorry, Stephen, but to me, Bob Houghton. Bob was of a different level. How much do you rate Peter Butler? Do I rate him actually? If you ask me that way, I don't even know. Do I rate him? Would I rate him? it's I don't know enough about him to be able to rate him in that way. So yeah, but he's done okay in Bangladesh. So yeah, but yeah. By the way, WPL cricket auction is happening. You can imagine how bad jokes people are making when a girl is sold to a club, but X will not stop those Israel posts but spread them. Yeah, Blue, that's what I'm saying. Just a curious question. Where did you watch the India games from their PPN or something? India games? Which India games? No, via FIFA. How do you see the craze for Super League Kerala? Surya, I have not really followed the craze around the Super League Kerala. At least it's not being pushed into my timelines. Last year it was being pushed massively into my timelines. Um, but this year, rarely stuff is plopping up on my Insta or on my X. So therefore, to me, I see sometimes those pictures and all those things, but I have not seen the craze of the Super League Kerala like we saw it last year. Last year was quite impressive to say the least, right? Parabians, Portugal, and Gedenkfeiern Österreich. Eh, Simon, bad Google translation. Gedenkfeiern, it means as if Austria has died. That you that's uh, why is this? Sorry, one sec. Don't you think ISIS should also be allowed to be played in these tier two cities at least? Surya, what is the value of that? Right? They've spread it out to uh, you know, and there's a commercial side of things, and we're forgetting the commercial side of things and saying, oh, you know what, there is this, there's this, then that won't work. Any update regarding new league starting? Nothing. So our not new league, old league, no league. We have nothing at the moment to discuss on the league front, right? It's a sad reality of things, but there is no discussion of any kind happening, so to say, on our league. Nick Voldemade is general number one. Said to World Cup is another Füllkrug to bonus sponsor, but is Burkhardt? How is Burkhardt in from Frankfurt? Simon, Nick Voldemade looks like it. Füllkrug is out. Tim Kleindienst might be a topic of discussion. Johnny Burkhardt surely uh, will be a backup, and then we'll have to see. Sorry, if a surprise. Where is Igor Stimac? Arjit, I guess he's in Croatia at the moment. He has no club or country. Apart from Gurpreet Singh Sandhu, Apuya, and Ryan, I don't see anybody in the potential going abroad right now, given the current situation. Fantastic. I don't see Gurpreet can go there and train, but I don't see him. Apuya also difficult, and Ryan, yeah, Ryan could go back to Australia, and the rest becomes difficult. Just one thing, Monma Superjang going for Lobera shows that they are only thinking about ISL, not AFC competitions. Why AFC competitions? Mohun Bagan is not playing in AFC competitions anytime soon. After not playing in Iran in the last 2 years, Mohun Bagan Supergiant thinking about anything else is would be a joke. Siddharth. Siddharth makes no sense. Would a player like Krishanu Dev find good European or West Asian clubs? No. No. Attendance for Super League Kerala has gone up really well these days. So yeah, again, as I said, I'm not following it. Honestly, it is off my radar. Once in a while, something or the other plops up, but it's not cropping up. And the point of attendance then is not going to be your benchmark. For me, from a management perspective, it is about numbers. And there, as far as I've seen and heard, the numbers are not still not good. And it won't be good because you are for that standard of football and for the level you are overpaying your players. A general Indian football problem. Also, what do you think about Lobera's tactics? Is he that good in AFC level coaches? Also, how far is him going with more so keeping in mind they have bigger purse? Siddhant, they're not playing in Asia. Why are you bringing up Asia, right? Uh, so he is a good level ISL level tactician, right? He's a champion coach in the ISL. And the question is if this current Mohun Bagan supergiant can play his football, that's the first question, or if he will make a difference to, or may make changes to that squad and then bring in players who can play his style of football, which is, and that's the interesting one compared to what Molina played, what Habas played, which is defensive, controlled football. His is attacking, go all out. Lobera as a coach, I'd rather win 5-4 than 1-0. And Mohun Bagan has had in Molina and Habas coaches, I'd rather win 1-0 and 5-4. So therefore, that will be an interesting test. Do you think if government didn't intervene, we would have had a better result by now? Yeah. I think the government intervention in 2022 to bring in and allow Kalyan Chaubey to come in is already was a problem. And now the government and the Supreme Court has brought us to this situation. Igor's too much appears in Chakde Football YouTube channel and criticizes Kalyan Chaubey. So now let him, right? That these kind of people are giving these kind of people a platform shows you they're not doing things in the interest of Indian football. European U17 players look like men while our U17 look like kids. Yeah, maybe blessed traders. Maybe. But our under 17 doesn't look like kids. Most of them look like, I'm not going to go into that discussion again, that they look like, I don't know how old they could be, should be. Have you heard of the Bengal prodigy midfielder Tanbir Day, who has signed for Northeast United FC? Zoravar, I heard about Tanbir a while back, but didn't know that he signed for Northeast United FC. Have you seen that Gay red card in the Man United vs Everton game? That was diabolical, but still managed to win though. Shastik, it is. Some people say it's insane. How can this? Sorry, in the heat of the moment, some of these crazy things can happen. Right? This is. It's not the first. It's not the last time that this has happened. It's happened in the Premier League and other leagues, national teams as well. But yeah, I mean, Gay said afterwards, tried to explain it and said sorry, and he has to talk to his teammate first and get it sorted. Sorry, again, connection problems. Good night, sir. And sorry, good night, sir. And let's meet at the live watch along tomorrow. Yes, Shwastik, thanks for joining in and see you tomorrow at the live watch along. Not only you, but hopefully the others as well. India versus Lebanon. I'll try and be there. Started off at around 7:25 tomorrow. Has Khalid Jamil been removed? No, or did? Why would he be removed by the AIFF? He still has a contract. Apologies, mistype. Commiserations for commemorations. My bad. It's mine. Bylight the word? No, it's not. My bylight again is also um, used at funerals. So you're using. This is the problem, right, with translations when you don't know what it means, because you're trying to commiserations and there isn't the same word um, in another language, right? So therefore, it makes it sometimes very very tricky, very very difficult to speak that way. Will Lobera be best fit? I don't know if he has to prove it. Lobera is a very successful coach. Did very well at FC Goa, even better at Mumbai City, even at Odisha with the given resources, he did okay. At Mohun Bagan, he has the most resources available in Indian club football, and therefore it will be very interesting to see what he's able to do at Mohun Bagan Supergiant. But can they? Yeah, they can win anything and everything. Will they? That is the real test. What happened to Arunachal talent Gyaman Nikum? Zoravar is at Mumbai City, um, and he's not broken through. And that they parked him in in the I League the year before with Interkashi, but the boy has not taken that next step, which I feel is needed. And that's the challenge for these kind of players, right? To have the breakthrough at that level and then play consistently at ISL level, right? Yeah, and I understand, sir. Right. Simon, thanks. Quick reminder: like, share, and subscribe. 15 likes so far. I think I can do better. And do subscribe to the channel if you want to be part of the discussion and conversations. 3,485. It seems to be another barrier. Goes up, goes down, goes down, goes up. Those of you who are new, and watch the short videos. Last couple of videos on Mohun Bagan and my questioning the AIFF on the women's football. Please do watch it, share it. Didn't get that many views, unlike the AIFF adopting the new constitution. Will the ISL happen? Stopping Indian football. The OCI needed thing as video has received 1,800 views. So again, but do watch the videos, guys, and thanks as always for your support. Lobera this, Lobera that. What do people get from hyping him up when we don't have anything to play for? Simon, that's a really funny one. It's at Mohun Bagan. A lot of fans now think because Lobera has joined, the league will happen. And I don't know. I honestly feel that if it works, it will be a real good match. It could be. But given the current scenario in Indian football, given also the things that Molina left because he wanted certain players, but the management signed other players, all of those things I have to keep in mind. And I'm not sure. And that makes it very interesting to see what really happens at Mohun Bagan Supergiant. It could be fireworks. That's why I repeat myself again and again and again. It's like, you know what? Have your popcorn ready because it could work out that nothing happens, or it could be fireworks left, right, and center. Right. And Lobera is a demanding coach. He's not an easy guy to manage and handle. Let's wait and see. Good night, Simon. Your opinion on India hosting Commonwealth Games. So, Ravar, there were no other options, right? There were. It is being sold as if like India has won some bidding, this and that, and everything. This in 2030 Commonwealth Games. Who was supposed to host it? Someone stepped back, right? 1 second. Let me just. Okay. Okay. So proposed bids originally were South Africa, Canada with multiple locations with Alberta and Hamilton, Australia declined. Originally, Perth was supposed to bid, but then they didn't. And now, what is happening with the Commonwealth Games was that suddenly India and Nigeria were the two nations left. Yes, that's an interesting one. And in the end, Nigeria didn't qualify because they didn't pass it. And then in the end, it was India or none. And I guess, yeah, India has the capabilities of hosting big scale international competitions, and therefore we are where we are. So therefore, great. India's going to host the Commonwealth Games in 2030 in Ahmedabad. And yeah, let's wait and see what happens over there with these hosting rights. Right, 25 minutes. try to answer all your questions, queries that have been thrown at me. Again, India yesterday beat Chinese Taipei 3-1, a comeback 3-1. Gangte with all the three goals, the captain for India. Tomorrow, India versus Lebanon. I'll be doing a live watch along, so do join us for that. Goa, late evening loss to Al Zawra in the ECL 2-1, 10-man, because Ayush Chetri got 2 yellow cards, had to be sent off. And yeah, the other big news, Sergio Lobera has taken over as head coach of Mohun Bagan Supergiant from Jose Molina. And the big question is Lobera now the right coach for the Mariners? And that's, for me, it's an interesting question. It's an interesting observation to see. Can Lobera redo his magic, which he's been able to do in Goa, in Mumbai, as well as in Odisha? He's done very, very well with all of these three, and therefore that would be very, very interesting to see, in my opinion, if he can do that or not. And yeah, it's therefore that's going to be very, very interesting to see. So that's that. Right. As there are no other points from you tonight, I'll slowly come to an end. As I said, tomorrow, watch along India versus Lebanon around 7:25. I will go live for that game. So hopefully tomorrow, a win in the early kickoff. Palestine take on Iran. So therefore, we will know by that time in the evening where this whole thing stands, and therefore looking forward to that. So thanks a lot. Once more, the reminder: like, share, and subscribe. Arun Foot here on YouTube. Watch my short videos. Visit my other social medias, and also visit arunfoot.com. Thank you and good night, and I'll see you tomorrow at the watch along.